Hi everyone, I'm Vixey and welcome back to my art channel. We now have a Peppy the Frog on our welcome, which was a suggestion by one of our viewers, which I put in the description. If you have any suggestions that you would like to add to our welcome sign, please leave it in the comments below and I will certainly make an effort to put it on there. Okay, so we have made a fair bit of progress on my cat painting here. In fact, I think there might be a video missing because we did have one video that I meandered off topic a little bit. I'll just pop the hourglass over here. I remembered this time. Basically, we filled in all this blue part of the blanket, which I mixed in this palette. See all this blue happening here, and it was a mixture of the iridescence and the blue and a little bit of the acrylic metallic. Again, I've covered up the brand names just because I'm not affiliated with any brands or anything like that. So, and of course we have the blue paint pots here. And because I made Pavel yellow as a base, and the blue, he's come up looking kind of like, who's that Pokemon? And a little bit Pikachu-ish at the moment, which I adore because I love Pokemon. I think I might have to round off his butt a little bit because that seems a bit pointy and a bit duck-like. So we might do that. I might just take that in right away with a little bit of yellow right now. I am also going to go back over this with more of a pinky like skin tone as a base because at the base of his fur he had fairly normal pinkish skin tone. So just gonna take some, this is a dry brush technique with very thick paint on it, so there's no water, and that applies a fairly thick coat of paint because it isn't watered down. What you will get though is because it's not watered down, it's not really getting into the crevices of the canvas, which is slightly problematic, but we can totally work with that. We'll go with this yellow, I think. But we will, because it's going on thickly though, we're not getting much of the blue showing through. And we're going to be going over it with more paint soon enough, so it's not that huge of a problem, but you do see a little bit of blue coming through. So it is going to have to be a few layers to like properly cover up that blue, which was why I painted the whole yellow over the white straight away because I wanted that lighter color base. A lot of painters will put a toner down first, which is basically a very thin layer of a particular tone. Like it'll be usually it's sort of a brown sepia tone, or if they want to go like hard black and white, they put down a grey. But I like to just go straight onto the canvas and use my first coat as my tone. I tend to get a much brighter, cleaner colors that way, and much more intense, because basically my bottom tone is pure white. Yep, that is much more. That's better. But as you can see, he is taking shape. And the topic for today, before I let the topic get away from me again, which we will have, so I had been pretty good with sticking to topics A, B, C, all the way through to M, which this episode will be M. And then the last episode, which was supposed to be M, I got through the whole thing, and then when I was reviewing it, I was like, wait, I did not talk about the topic at all. And then I made another one, and I rambled on, and I went way over time, and then on top of that, I was just like, well, I'll keep that one and probably edit it down at some point and maybe re-release it, but it's... I didn't quite like it that much, so I'm just like, you know what, we're just gonna reshoot M. There is going to be a fair chunk of, like, the progress of the paintings that have definitely moved quite along a fair bit, because I think the last time you saw this painting there wasn't any blue on it, so I basically covered most of the blue during the last couple of videos, which took a while. Again, that's why that last video went way over time. And basically what I was doing though was I was just taking the blue with, I was using a fairly broad tipped brush, and I just went all the way around. If you can see these strokes, I went all the way around, and I was like just taking it all the way out to the edges from the inside. And then just sort of cleaning up the lines as best I could. So you can see some of the strokes where I was just like cleaning it up this way. I used a fair bit of water, so I used wet brush, but it wasn't that wet, right? And I did mix with the iridescence and the metallics, so there is a little bit of sheen to it, which I'm not sure if you can see, because this is matte. You see how there's no shine? And then this part being like iridescent, there's some shine happening to it. Which, I mean, it's kind of early to put shine on it, really, because as I keep sort of mentioning, these are the base coats, so I'm not sure how much of the shine will actually show through. So, again with the topic being mirrors and masks. Before we actually delve into that though, I have received a parcel, and I'm covering up my address and things because I don't want to get doxed or slaughtered or anything like that. That stuff's very dangerous and scary, particularly if you are a minority. Anyway, we're doing an unboxing, yay! Although this isn't a box, this is a packet thingy. So get rid of that, and ooh! I hope that's what I think it is. Which is, so I ordered it off eBay a little while ago. Oh, yes, it is, and hopefully in the next few episodes I will figure out how to use it. They are camera glasses. So hopefully when I'm doing this painting stuff nice and up close, instead of having to wave the painting in your face like this, I'll be able to wear the goggles things, and you'll be able to see directly what I'm looking at. So, and we will probably have a few episodes of that, which and we'll see how much you like that. I will probably at some point actually start editing both of those kinds of shoots together, which again will be quite exciting. So again, thank you so much for being supportive with me at these grassroots levels of just starting out the channel. I do promise that it will just keep getting better as I get more experience, more equipment, and certainly please like, share, subscribe, because if I do get a certain amount of regular subscribers and viewers, then we will also be unlocking some of those live tools, and that way I can throw out questions and polls and things like that, and you can then answer in real time, and we can hear from you and hear your feedback right away. Things like what we can add to the welcome sign, and guesses for the portrait and things like that. So yeah, please, it really helps me out, and it will unlock more features for you. So let's get stuck into more painting of my cat here. I will try to get a balance of working on my cat and working on the other portrait as well, which I am very pleased at the moment. I'm like, it is coming along very well. I will probably have to add, I'm definitely going to put many more layers on that. So, just gonna keep putting on some orange and yellows here, and I have been doing some research too about how to do realistic pet paintings, and like how to like basically put all the fur effects and things on there. So we will be going through that, and I'm probably not doing myself any favors by printing it out like on this very pixelated poor quality paper, but we will work with what we have. We always work with what we have, which is one of my favorite quotes from the movie Cabin in the Woods. That's an absolutely brilliant movie. I love how they turned all the stereotypes and narratives on their head. Like, it's very subversive. And so, of course, there was like the main character. She was supposed to be the virgin sacrifice, as the trope goes. And she gets to the end, and the character, the director woman, like, who was played by Sigourney Weaver, who is an amazing actress, she comes up to her and she's like, we need to sacrifice you, and because you're our virgin sacrifice, basically tells her that. The girl's response was, wait, you think I'm a virgin? And Sigourney Weaver's like, we work with what we have. And I always thought that was so funny, because it's just like, because I mean, you think all these horror stories, right? All these witch sacrifice stories is like, it kind of seems like the virgin part is kind of important to the whole sacrifice, but apparently not. And so, I mean, and I just kind of like that attitude that, you know, you just try to get by with whatever you have, and sometimes it ends up being like sort of a janky MacGyver together thing. And oh, I love MacGyver. I used to watch MacGyver all the time, and you know, my dad's an engineer, so like, you know, just like that whole idea of engineering things and like putting random house items together to make some contraption that will fix things. So I used to watch a lot of MacGyver, and yeah. Yeah, that was a very good show, and I really like how you can sort of just cobble together these kinds of things, like uh like these inventions that problem solve, and I love that that was like his hero ability, which I mean I guess that might also be why I like Batman and Iron Man too, because they too kind of use technology to um, technology as their superpower, really. Now, I'm gonna go with the premixed skin tones again. Um, if you're starting out, you can certainly start out with mixing your own skin tones. And I may have mentioned before about how when you mix like that, you take one color in one corner of the palette and another color in the other, and you start mixing it together. What I know I did not mention is that you can get a finer gradient that way as well, because you can start with like a darker, and then as you progressively paint, get lighter and lighter and lighter, or start with the lighter and the other way and go progressively darker, 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 just by continually adding more and more of the other color. And so you have a lot more control over the exact shade and gradient, and how dramatic those gradients are, and you have complete control over that. But of course, with great power comes great responsibility, and you could go too far one way or too far the other way. But I mean, then you just have to mix it back and forth until you're happy with it. Whereas this is like it's all laid out, and then if you it and I did mention that if you do then make a mistake and you want to go back and get that color that you had before, it's like easy to just dip in that pot. Whereas if you do the mixing of the gradient, you have to just keep mixing back and forth until you match it right. And that can get slightly trickier if what you're matching with is dried already, because when paint dries, the pigment does change a little bit. Just a hair, but like, it does change a little bit. Yeah, so still just gonna go in here, and again, this brush is dry. I haven't even dipped it in water or anything. I actually think what I might do is I might actually refresh the water. Just wondering if I can pause the video for a second and do that. I might just do that. I'm gonna pause you. I'll be right back. It worked! Okay, so I'm back, and I'm back with some nice fresh water. So I'm back on topic with mirrors and reflection and masks. So things that start with M. So, masks. I mean, we're all familiar with the, COVID medical face masks. And personally, I kind of liked them. I felt very comfortable wearing them, and as somebody that has had allergies and asthma and things like this, I actually felt like they improved my breathing a lot. So I was always more than happy to be wearing them. However, I know some people were like, some people struggled with the idea of it, and but I always, and it made me feel safer. Like, I actually did feel so much safer wearing it. Plus, I mean, the whole point, of course, was to make everybody else safer, that if you happen to catch anything, you wouldn't transfer it to other people. And for me, it 100% worked in keeping me safe. Like, I was extremely pedantic about it. I would always be wearing it specifically whenever I was at work, because as a wedding DJ, I do other like public parties as well. So as a DJ, I'm constantly like around a big party of people, you know, um, and you know, people like to party. They like to play loose, and they would run around without masks. The guests, I mean, and this of course is like, you know, when you're allowed to, right? When it's recommended and not, you know, compulsory. But like even when it was just recommended, I would make sure I'd always wear it, and for me it kept me safe. I never caught it until one day I kind of gave into peer pressure of like all my work colleagues and stuff going, it's only recommended, you don't need to do it, we don't need to do it anymore, you look silly, it looks like a dog muzzle and you just take it off. And I kind of just went, I'm one of those people that will be like, the one time that I don't do it, that's when it happens. And sure enough, the one time I wasn't wearing my mask, one of the guests happened to have it and gave it to me. And so, yeah, that. So I was sick for a while and it was awful, and I really wish I had kept my mask on. But very luckily for me, again, like, I felt so much safer that I got the vaccination. And especially since, like, you know, having asthma, I would have been like in higher risk of it being an actual problem. And in fact, I do think that might be why I've been kind of home ridden, because it did exacerbate my asthma, and my doctor had to put me on a Ventolin pump, which I take every morning now. And yeah, but so really, masks, I think they're useful and I feel safer wearing them. I understand if people don't want to though. Like, I do understand that it can be restricting, and particularly, like, you know, if you have that attitude where it's like, you know, it takes away some level of your freedom, then like I understand that people would think that, but I just think for other people's safety as well as your own, it's better. And to me, my experience was it did actually work. And it was very clear when I didn't do it. I got it. So so, you know, as a public safety announcement, I would strongly recommend continuing to wear the mask wherever possible, and just stay safe and healthy. So yeah, I'm going in with the pink here, and it's like a skin tone pink, and I'm just gonna build that straight over the yellow, straight over it. I'm not putting any shading in just yet. I'm gonna fully cover this in the skin tone pinks first, and really get that fleshiness in there before starting to build some of the fluffiness into it. The tutorial said to just really focus on the face and the nose and the eyes particularly, because those parts will definitely be the parts that really give you a sense of the cat being, you know, lifelike. Getting paint everywhere that I don't want it to. And I'm not too worried about that, because I am going to pop some of these pretty little flowers on there as well, so that we're decorating the blanket. And just gonna paint that right on there. really make some progress on that. So, the other part of the topic that I was going to cover was about mirrors and reflections. Which I think when I've been reviewing the videos lately, they have been coming up the right way around, which so I think that the whole image being flipped thing has been resolved somehow. I did fiddle with the settings a little bit on my camera there, and hopefully I managed to somehow bingo the right settings to fix that issue. But I'll admit I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing. I basically Googled some of the things and it said, yeah, just change this, this, and this in the settings. And I was like, okay. And so I did that. And so far, the videos that I have reviewed that after the change looks like they're fixed on my end. But by all means, let me know if they still look reversed and mirrored to you, particularly that welcome sign. As I was talking about symbols changing their meaning entirely if they were reversed, at first I was going to use the Eye of Horus on the abstract symbolism portrait, but in lieu of the fact that I don't know whether that will end up being reversed, I'm thinking that I should use symbols that are more symmetrical. So that, because I do know for a fact that particular symbol, if it is flipped again, will mean the exact opposite thing. So we don't want to do that. So again, I'm just filling in the rest of this with as much of this skin tone pink as I can. Might go slightly lighter in this area here. I'm just really packing the color in. So again, the brush is dry. I haven't dipped it in any water at all. I'm just scooping up tons of the paint color and just really, really globbing it on there. And then just smoothing it out. Just smoothing it out. And as soon as I've got this down, I'm going to start sort of building some shading and dimension, because even though this is basically going to be completely covered in tiny, tiny strokes of fur, again, you will sort of start getting like where some parts are darker or lighter through the shading that happens underneath it. I am using quite a lot of this skin tone right now. And I will need that to dry, so I'll move right on to the abstract symbolism painting right away. We'll get stuck into that, which has also progressed so much. I'm actually super excited. I think there is, I left it at there being a fairly large clue there for anyone who is trying to guess and playing at home. Loose there. his eyes kind of thing. And really getting in there with the ears, particularly because with the ears a lot more fleshiness is going to be revealed there. So really want to get those ears coated nicely. It's okay if I go a little over the blue. I'll be taking back the blue in when I start putting the fur, because the important thing with the fur as well when I start adding the fur is that I blend it with the background. So there'll be a couple of brush strokes of like blue interwoven with his gingery kind of whitish fur. And I'm gonna go quite heavy with very light pink right on his face, particularly around the nose, because his nose is going to show through as kind of fleshy as well. So almost there, almost there. Yeah. So after this pinky fleshy part dries, I'm going to go in and start putting down the white under, like, because his fur coat, like, after the fleshy part was like quite white, and then it builds up towards ginger. So, and then he has like the stripes and the swirls in there, and the little like black marks on his face and things like not black, they're dark brown. He had like little dark brown stripes and things. So yeah, so we're gonna put him aside for a bit. He's looking a little bit ghoulish. He's looking a little bit ghoulish at the moment because he is like weird pink and then there's like yellow glowy eyes happening. But that is the base of, and I'm really quite happy with the shape because I think the shape is very close to how he's sitting on the blanket there. We certainly will be able to really tease out that shape to exactly what we want when we start putting the fur on him. Ooh, again, this video is getting a little long. So I will just very quickly and briefly pull up the abstract symbolism painting and point out that yes, there, right there, that fluffy white thing is a big clue for anyone who is playing at home. And I will start. These are like very creamy whites. Oh, I have the extra color perception, so for me I can actually very easily tell the difference between very close shades. So again, that's just the natural affinity I have for painting. And yeah, I'm just going to go in here and, again, just kind of making this nice and fluffy. Actually, good thing I got the water. Really want to clean this brush out. And get it nice and wet so that we can get some broad, wet strokes. I'm actually going to grab some of this iridescence. I think this straw's open. Yes, this straw's open. I'm going to grab some of the iridescence. I'm going to get this really broad brush, grab the iridescence, and start just really layering in some strokes of iridescence really quite thickly, trying to get even more fluffiness happening. So really wanting to build up lots and lots of texture so that you get the sense of this white patch here being really, really fluffy. Yeah. I really like how the grass turned out here. And that kind of technique is going to be very similar to what we use to get the fur strokes. However, I have got a pack of new paintbrushes with a couple of finer ones. So, yay, another unboxing real quick. And yeah, please mention in the comments if you would prefer to have longer videos or more shorter videos, but like more of them. Or whether you would really like a full long stream. So yeah, these ones, they're quite a fair bit smaller than these ones that I have been working with. I have an even super finer thin set that I will unbox in the next episode. Yeah, so those are new ones. The iridescence does have a little bit of a grayness to it, which I'll use a bit for the shading, but it does add a nice pearly sheen to it. So see, when you see how this is matte and this has some of the metallic, and so when you tilt it in the light, the iridescent part, you can see the iridescent part's shiny and the matte part is like matte. So that's matte and that's iridescent shiny. So in real life, it's a fair bit more obvious than it is on the camera, I must say. But you can see a little bit of it happening there. And again, there's glosses that... Oh, there's a little bit of blue coming here. Yeah, there's some glosses that I do not like. Clean that off. Don't want any blue on my white patch. So yeah, we will be continuing with this next episode. I will be adding a couple more symbols. We're actually going to put their star sign right in here. So looking forward to that. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Please like, share, subscribe, and yeah, love you, bye.